Make sure to speak clearly into the microphones so that people listening online can hear. And presenters and any people testifying, please state clearly your name and position before starting. I call this meeting to order as of 1:45. Kenyon, do we have any public testimony on our agenda items today?
Yes, Chair. First testifier is Sherry Nakamura.
Okay. Good afternoon, Sherry.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the board. My name is Sherry Nakamura, and I'm Director of Heading Coalition. I'm testifying on item 4B on the proposed policy 103.4 on school health services. I submitted written testimony for the SAC committee meeting, and I apologize I couldn't be there for that meeting, so I'm testifying orally here at this meeting. So the coalition is in support of this policy. It aligns with the HEA priority of supporting the whole child. We participated in the stakeholder meetings led by Member Appleby to discuss the concept and the language of the policy, and I was impressed to see so many entities from multiple state departments, schools, and community organizations collaborate at many meetings to develop a concept and policy that everyone could agree upon. As I mentioned in my written testimony, we also like the fact that the policy supports complex areas in schools to create a framework that best suits their community and students. Some HEA members are already seeing the benefits of these kinds of health partnerships that are already going on. We've heard positive feedback from the Castle Complex Community Council on the Healthy Keiki initiative that just started at Castle High School. And also In Peace, a community organization who's involved in the community on the Leeward Coast, has advocated for the health center at Waiakea Intermediate, and so it's extremely exciting for them to see the center actually in operation. So we encourage you to support this policy, and thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Any questions for Sherry? Okay, thank you very much.
Next testifier is Hinole Moana Wong Kalu.
Good afternoon.
Aloha mai kako, Chair, and the esteemed members of this board. Mahalo for the opportunity to come here today to present to you a petition of over 5,400 and growing number of signatures calling on your leadership and calling upon the Department of Education to ensure that respect and protection is afforded to all of our students within our public education system, especially with regards to our transgender students. We have three very simple requests of you for your consideration, and that is that some consistent guidelines are established and clearly articulated so that students of all genders are treated fairly and will feel safe in their school. But even beyond that, not only feeling safe, but feeling appreciated and valued, because as we know, all of our children are important, and all of our children are counting upon us. As someone who has taught for 13 years in the public charter school system, I knew that if I as a teacher did not love my students above and beyond, just as I would love my own child, it would not be a successful relationship. But so too, that should fall upon you as the board and those who are within the Department of Education. Our next request is that there be some provision made for the training of administrators, teachers, and other staff to know how to properly implement guidelines that could be created and make sure that their implementation is fluid. And the third request is that judicious action be taken, so that way in this upcoming graduation and anything else that is coming around the corner for our students, that they be able to engage in all of their activities with that same feeling of respect and genuine aloha. For we live in Hawaii. Hawaii is a place of embracing diversity. We are a melting pot of ethnicities. We are a melting pot of culture. And we are also guided by Hawaiian culture, which has great room for all of the people under the sun. So we thank you for allowing us this time to present. And I would just like you to know that very humbly, I was offered the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. to receive an award from the White House Challenge. I will also be traveling to receive the National Education Association, also known as Yuka Award. But I stayed home to be able to bring this to you today. So may I deliver this to you at this time. Mahalo.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board members?
That is one copy of which you may, at least at this current time, you may pass around and allow your leadership to redistribute as you see fit. Mahalo. Any further questions?
No. Board Member Holligal.
Thank you and congratulations, Kumuhina, on your awards.
Mahalo.
Well deserved. I just wanted to let you know that as chair of the Student Achievement Committee, we do have on the agenda for our June 7th SAC meeting
Yes.
to have the department present their guidelines on how to address transgendered issues
Yes.
in schools. And so I wanted you to know that we do have that in mind and that we are considering this very carefully. So thank you for your input.
Mahalo. And if I may, myself, my team, the Kumuhina media team, is prepared to avail ourselves. We also come with an accolade of other resources within our community to support you to the fullest of our ability in coming up with that which is necessary, guidelines and anything else that would aid in supporting our youth. So please feel free to call upon us. We are at your disposal. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you very much.
Mahalo.
Next testifier is Joe Wilson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, aloha. Board, thank you very much for welcoming us today. My name is Joe Wilson. I am a member of the Kumuhina Project. And I just want to say I'm very proud and honored to be among the tremendous array of community supporters, individuals, families, other community allies, working together, standing up to say that we have the strongest interest in offering you our strongest support to ensure that all of our students across the gender spectrum here in Hawaii are safe, included, and protected in their classrooms of all places. As Hina said, I just want to echo that we will avail ourselves to you in any way we can to provide the kind of support that's necessary to ensure that these guidelines are not just put out, but that our teachers, our frontline teachers who care the most about our kids are as prepared as they possibly can be to make sure they know what to do in the classroom to make sure the kids get through the school day safe. I want to just, also echo that through our work on the Kumuhina Project and the stories that we've heard from many people across these islands, we have come to know, obviously, that Hawaii has a rich tradition of gender diversity and inclusion. And our public schools of all places should not just reflect that, but they have the potential to present a model to schools throughout Hawaii, across the US and around the world, to what that really looks like and what it can mean and the difference it can make in young people's lives. So again, thank you for offering us the time to present today. We look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Next testifier is Corey Rosenly.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Corey Rosenlee, President of the Hawaii State Teacher Association. I brought Mitzi up here just in case I forgot something. First of all, I do want to say that HSTA was very proud to sponsor. And we were very happy that Kumuhina won the National Ellison Onizuka Award for the Human Civil Rights. And as a union, we always sponsor the idea that all children, regardless, deserve that quality education. The thing I do want to talk about is, after listening to the Student Achievement Committee, there was great discussion that we had on class size. We had recommended a certain policy change, but I think that the one thing I'd like the board to take action on is, one of the things that we were discussing, I'm going to give board member Jim Williams some credit here, was we really need data. And one of the things that we don't have is, right now, currently through our SSI report, is we use the measurement of students per staff. And I looked at Campbell's 19.1, which my teachers would laugh at if they saw that as a statistic, because most of them are teaching classes in the high 30s or 40 students. And we need to know how many teachers are actually in the classroom, how many teachers have been pulled out of the classroom. Give me back credit. We looked at, over the break, we looked at the studies comparing states to states, and Hawaii isn't even included in the class size study because we don't have the right data. And the reality is because we're using a measurement that doesn't actually measure class size. We're using ratios, and one of the studies was saying you can't compare the two. We need to, in order for us to fix the problem, first you need to know what the current situation is. Now we have two schools, one actually has actual class size of 20, and the other one has actual class size of 40. We need to be able to look and see what's happening between these two different schools. But just sometimes having that information would be great and able to solve the problem. The other thing is to separate special education from regular education as well. Because oftentimes if you have a C class or a fragile class or the resources classes, that often lowers the actual class sizes. So if you have a measurement for special education, a measurement for regular education, and measure actual class sizes, we can actually learn what is going on to try to solve this problem. So I would ask this board, if it's a motion or take action on this, to request the DOE to actually look at actual class sizes and bring us into the norm of what the rest of the United States is doing so we can actually solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next testifier is Cameron Miyamoto.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Chair and members of the Board of Education. Thank you for this opportunity to testify today. My name is Cameron Miyamoto. I'm at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and I run the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender student services there. I'm really honored to be here today to support the Kumuhina team, because I know that an anti-harassment policy is needed, a comprehensive one for students in the gender spectrum, to make sure that we have it going all across in every school. One of the things that I worry about in looking at Title IX is, how can we have a principal who can have her or his ability to say, I think I want to enforce this, or I think I don't. And that's a big problem if we want to keep our federal funding in any institution. So I think that's something that we've got to look at. Like, what do we need to do institutionally to make sure that we have things in line so that we have the policies in place? Similarly, we need training for our teachers because they do care. And lots of times this tone is set by an individual principal or an area superintendent. And I know there are so many people out there in the community and so many professionals who are interested in helping, such as the Kumuhina team. And they've already been awarded national awards, and they continue to be getting accolades. So I think this is an excellent opportunity for the Board of Education to work with the Kumuhina team, and where we in Hawaii can lift things up and offer best practices and best policies for the rest of the nation that are starting to be recognized by the White House. And then maybe the Board of Education can join in those efforts. So I implore you to please do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you very much.
Next testifier is Dean Hamer.
Good
Thank
afternoon.
you. Aloha, everybody. Thanks for letting us be here. And first of all, we apologize for showing up to talk about something that's not on the agenda. It was a story that came up quickly, and we thought this was a good time to address it. So I really appreciate Brian DeLima's talking to me and being open to have people come here and present. I also just wanted to really thank the entire Board of Education for the very courageous stands that you've taken on providing a learning environment that's protective for all students and protects their health and their well-being, and sometimes against challenges. And that's very much appreciated, and we admire that very much. So I don't have much to add to what Hina and Joe already said. I do just want to tell you briefly that this project really started out as a documentary about Hina and her work. And that evolved into a children's film called A Place in the Middle, which talks about her work at a charter school with a little girl that wants to lead the boys' hula team. And at first everyone says, no, you can't do that, it's only for boys. And Hina straightens them out pretty quickly. What's amazing about that is that this has become a model for education in K through 12 schools, especially 6th to 8th grade, all around the country. And it's being used all over the country. It's nationally broadcast. It's been a tremendously popular, it's the most popular learning lesson about gender on PBS Learning Media, which has 1.7 million registered teacher users. So all of this is to show that Hawaii has something to offer the rest of the world in terms of education. And we're very excited about working together with you to make sure that this extends to the way the transgender students are handled in school. And we'll look forward to helping advise you or provide people that can advise you to make sure that transgender people are part of the process in developing these guidelines. Thank you again.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Board Member Min?
Are there any other areas in the country or in the nation or around the world that do good jobs with this, or are we just starting to make it?
Yes, that's a great question. And now there are, I think, 20 school districts around the country that have implemented various types of transgender policies. In California, there's a state law that was passed. Every school district has a policy. And those went into effect at the beginning of 2014. And those are great models. They have all the right language, very useful. In that 2 years, since 2014, there has not been any incidences of confusion or people are worried about people sneaking into the bathroom. That hasn't happened. So they are really a terrific model.
Thank you very much. And for the information for the board, I stood corrected by our executive director because this is not an agenda item for testimony. We're not allowed to ask questions, so my apologies.
Next testifier is Madeline S.
Good afternoon.
Aloha, all you beautiful people. I don't know what to say. I just want to say that just to add on what Hina said, me as being transgender and also being a parent of 3 beautiful kids and 4 gorgeous granddaughters, I could not fathom the thought if they decided to become transgender and going through things that, some of our clients at the Life Foundation, the Kuana Project, which helps, Kuana Project is a program for our transgender girls where we help them. And we've had girls that are in high school that are, from Nanakuli that face a situation where a girl was not allowed to use the girls' bathroom. Or she was told by the principal that, oh, then you shouldn't dress like that. To me, that is wrong. That is not right. This person is expressing themselves and being true to themselves. And so to have them to go back into the closet and not be who they want to be is totally wrong. So I am in full support of Kumahina's team, And if you need our agency as well, we also do cultural competency training to help staff to work with transgender, how to deal with them. So if you need our support, just go to Kumuhina's team and we'll be glad to help you folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't like talking.
You did well.
Chair, there are no more testifiers.
Okay, thanks, Ken. There's no more public testimony. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes. And in your meeting binders are the minutes of the April 19th, 2016 general business meeting. So please take a moment to review. There are no revisions. May I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion's been carried, minutes are approved. We'll now move on to the reports of the board committees, board members, and superintendent. I'd like to call on committee vice chairperson Don Horner to provide the audit committee report on the meeting that was held earlier today.
Thank you, Chair. We had a fairly long meeting today for audit committee. We had the financial report presented, it's thorough discussion. I do believe there may be an opportunity for the chair to put approval of that on the upcoming agenda. But I have no other comments regarding the audit committee, Chair, unless there's questions.
Any questions for board member Horner? Okay, thank you. Now I'd like to call on committee chairperson Patricia Holligow to provide the Student Achievement Committee report on the meeting that was held earlier today.
Thank you, Chair. We had a very lengthy board meeting, accomplished very much throughout this meeting. First, we started with an update on the seal of biliteracy, policy 105.15 on their the DOE's implementation plan, extensive report. Then followed with a update on the competency-based education, its progress since December 6th. We also wanted to update the committee on the the policies that will be going before the board in June. We added to that list the ends policies as well. The committee also took action on several policies, which I will outline further when we get to the action piece of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for board member Holligow? Okay, thank you. I'd like to call on Steve Schatz, who's taking the place of our superintendent, to provide the superintendent's report regarding the May 2016 education update.
Thank you, Chair. I want to just mention a few things from the superintendent's update that I think are worth mentioning. First of all, congratulations to our two principals of the year, Waiakea High School's Mahina Anguai and Kapolei Middle School's Bruce Nagua. I know both of these principals personally, and these are really well-deserving leaders of our schools. I had the opportunity to visit Waiakea High School a few months back and was really inspired about what she's able to do over there with her community, the partnerships that she has, and I know Member Cox is happy to see some COI representation there too. And as you probably remember, when P20 came up about 2 months ago to do their report on the College and Career Readiness Indicators report, the CCRI, Waiakea High School was one of the ones that was recognized as really moving the needle for kids. So, you know, that leadership is paying off. In addition, you may have seen a press release this morning. We are in the process of expanding our community eligibility provision program to 30 schools for next year, 17,000 kids, which is basically a way to make it easy for our students to receive their free or reduced lunch and minimize the paperwork at the school level. So the pilot program that went on this year on the whole island of Molokai and a little bit of the Big Island was successful, and we're starting to scale. So that's also something that is a great partnership with the DHS, with the governor's office, and with Amy and Dan's shop. So really appreciate that work. Finally, I wanted to mention that the U.S. Department of Education has a Presidential Scholars Program, and this program recognizes exceptional scholarship of high school seniors in and talent in the visual, creative, performing arts and the career and technical fields. And there were 10 Hawaii semi-finalists that were awarded, and 7 of the 10 were from public schools. So we thought that was something certainly worth recognizing.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions? Okay. Now we'll move on to the presentation of discussion items, starting with the Bright Spots presentation on Waiakea High School's early college program and Hilo Waiakea complex areas Alakai initiative. I'd like to call on Deputy Superintendent Steve Schatz to introduce this agenda item. And just for the benefit again of the board, this is something I'd like to see on a regular basis on our agenda going forward.
Thank you, Chair. To me, this is a very exciting moment because we're able to share some of the great things that we're seeing in the field. I think when we think of bright spots, sometimes we think of them as anomalies, like as exceptions to the rule. And I'm here to tell you, these are not anomalies. These are not exceptions. There are great things going on in our schools throughout the state. I've visited probably 150 schools this year, almost all of our high schools. And I can't help but be impressed everywhere I go about what our leaders and what our teachers and our communities are doing for our students. And I know that the chair really wants us to celebrate these successes publicly because I think the public needs to know about the good things that are going on in our schools. But beyond that, I think we're using it, as I've mentioned before, this idea of bright spots as a way to scale success. In other words, if it's happening at Waiakea, why can't it be happening at Hilo High? And if it's happening at Kapa'a, why can't it be happening at Kauai High? And so our process throughout the year has been to use our various learning networks, meaning our meetings essentially, our principals meetings, our complex area superintendent meetings, our CAST meetings, as vehicles to share these bright spots, to learn from one another and to facilitate the dialogue among leaders and be a little bit more disciplined about how did you get from point A to point B. So it was a bit of a long introduction, but I did get to go to visit Waiakea and see and hear from the kids themselves and hear from Principal Koga. So I'll start by introducing a pretty new Kaz, Mr. Brad Bennett from the Hilo Waiakea complex area, who will introduce the rest of his team.
Welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you for having me. First time I've done this, other than when I was confirmed, so a little nervous.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'd like to share 2 bright spots with you, things we're very proud of that are happening in Hilo Waiakea complex area. The first, as Deputy Schatz talked about, is our early college program at Waiakea High. It's amazing work that's being done, but I think the best people to talk about it are the students who are being affected by it. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Kogan a little bit, and then following that, we have a short presentation on what we're calling our Hilo Waiakea Complex Area Alakai initiative, which is basically a homegrown leadership pipeline. So we're trying to provide leadership training to our teacher leaders, to our vice principals in Hilo, and not having them come to Honolulu for it. It helps them. It helps us train in a more responsive way to what's going on in our area. So we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But I'd like to introduce Principal Kelsey Koga from Waiakea High School, and he can introduce his team.
Welcome and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, I am Principal Kelsey Koga at Waiakea High School, and we are here to give you a short presentation about our early college program at Waiakea High. And this is something that we are very proud of. I'm not going to steal any of the students' thunder because they got compelling stories, and I know our time is limited, but I will say early college and the attaining of dual credit at Waiakea High and any other high school in the state, happens. I think this program is a lot more compelling for us, and we really feel proud of it because this program targets our non-traditional students and our students that may not have sought dual credit at the collegiate level. So without further ado, I will introduce to you Junior Cecily Puai, Senior Cody Cuba, and our Vista coordinator on campus, who really does more than just Vista work. Andrew Frias.
Good afternoon to all of you.
Thank you.
We'll pull up another chair.
Hi, good afternoon. As I said, my name is Cecily Poi, and this is my peer, Cody Cuba. So we'll be talking about the early college program and basically what it does for us and how it works for us.
Okay, so when we first tried to build the early college program, we attempted to duplicate much of what's happening around the nation, and it didn't work. So it's kind of like that age-old tale when they tell you to shoot for the moon, shoot for the moon. And then somebody once told me, if you shoot for the moon and hit the stars, you're still good. So when we started talking about how we're going to get our kids, our local brothers and sisters, how we're going to get them to college and then get them to a life that's fulfilling, we thought that we have to shoot for, if we wanted to get these kids graduated from high school, we have to shoot for college. If we want to get them into college, we have to shoot for employment. If we want to get them employed and living a life that's fulfilled, we have to shoot for where they live. And so what we developed was this definition of the prosumer. And it's an individual who, beyond consuming, produces the resources that contribute to the synergy of its ecosystem and community. And so that's truly what we're trying to do with our early college at Waiakea High School. Not just build community contributors, but grow community prosumers that contribute to the health and wealth of where they live. So we're not trying to get these guys to get out of Waiakea or Hilo and go away and do good and come back, and maybe come back. We want them to come back and we want them to thrive in their community. And how can we do that? And so just a little background before we begin. I know this, while we begin, this video is going to play quite slow. So I'm just going to talk, and then when it finishes up, I'm done talking, I'll just go for it. But Waiakea High School, as you can see, is located on the south flank of Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea. Off to the distance in the horizon is one of our homesteads in Hilo, Ka'umana Homestead. As you can see when the view flips around, we also service, well, Ka'umana is supposed to go to Hilo, but lots of their kids will predominantly come to Waiakea, just because the Ahupua is so close and most of their family works in our district. So we service that Hawaiian homestead, and we also service Panaewa Homestead, and Keokaha is right down the road. It's within the Waiakea Ahupua. You'll be able to see in a couple seconds that Waiakea High School shares 2 or 3 intersections with the University of Hawaii at Hilo. That's the University of Hawaii, right in the distance. And we're on the same road as Hawaii Community College. And so this early college program really came to be a community effort with these people who live and thrive in the same community. Traditionally, I think when Mr. Koga went to school, when he went to school in Hilo, Waiakea High School is known as Japanese school, and that's where all my cousins went. Well, that's really changed, and now we have a 44% Native Hawaiian population. We also have a 49% free reduced lunch population, 80% of which are our Native Hawaiian children. And so when we thought about student achievement and what we're getting graded on and the Strive High Index and all of those things, we thought, how do we elevate the school success and empower our community to be there for our kids? How do we connect our local kids to the resources in the community because they have goals of college and career success? And early college was the answer. And so our target population for early college are our non-traditional, our Native Hawaiian, our children of color, our free reduced lunch, and all of those disparities. And so without further ado.
Okay, so when entering early college, you go into 4 sequence courses so the first class that you would take would be the IS 101 class, and in this class you basically obtain the skills and learning habits that you need in order to thrive in a college course. The next class you would go to is Hawaiian Studies 100, and this is where the students can identify with the land and find who they are on the inside. In English 100, people are able to put that into written expression, and in the last course, Speech and Communications 151, they're able to express it orally. After successful completion of all 4 courses, you get to go into the Running Start course.
So for me, I am interested in majoring in natural resources and becoming a wildlife conservationist. So for me, for be able to do that, to take those classes, I need to take these 4 core classes. And then after I finish those, then I can go on the side and I can take the classes I need.
So like Chloe was explaining, our curriculum, we're looking at, there's 3 components: curriculum, career, and community. And so the curriculum, we see it as a conduit to employment. So can Cody identify his path in school, then secondary education, then tertiary education, and then can he identify employment that leads to a life that's fulfilling for himself? So it's based on his own version of success. And then our community component, we have a community partnership with the Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center, and they provide the integrated experiences within our community, whether it be excursions and overnighters to some remote places on Hawaii Island, or if it just be to industries in the community where our kids can get out and explore these industries and see what fits for them.
Again, my name is Cecily Pwai. I'm a junior at Waiakea High School, and I currently have 6 college credits. I'm taking English 100 now, which is the 3rd class in the sequence. I actually finished that class next week, and I plan on finishing with an A. During the summer, I will be taking 3 more classes: English 102, History 151, and Speech and Communications 151, which is the last sequence course. I plan on graduating my senior year with 42 college credits and 37 high school. So a little bit about myself or my story about getting into early college is that both of my siblings that are way older than me, they were not successful when they went to college. They both went away to the mainland, and my brother had to come home for like drug abuse issues, and then my sister had to come home because she faced a series of illnesses that she couldn't live on her own anymore. And because both of my siblings were unsuccessful, I made it like a personal goal of mine to succeed, just to give my parents a positive experience with education. But after a while, I kind of saw that the path that I was going down wasn't really for me. It was like only to please my parents and not to please myself. But then, fortunately, when I got to high school, I had the opportunity to join the early college program, and at first it was really scary, but after I had help from my advisors and my peers and community partners like QLCC, I was really able to find a path that I wanted to go down. And so now, because of early college, I know that I want to major in like sociology and then hopefully become like a social worker. Yeah, thank you.
Let me also add quickly, in Cecily's case, she's a junior, and if she chose to graduate this May, she could. She's pretty much done with all of her high school credits, and it's just a half credit short as far as high school credit is concerned. And if she had so chosen, she's good to graduate this year in 2 years.
Oh, I live in the Kaumana Homestead area.
Her mother is also a teacher at
Yeah, she's a little nervous, but yeah. Hello, my name is Corey Cuba. I'm also in the early college program and a senior at Waiakea High School. Right now, I have 15 college credits, and I doubled up for this year because my first IS class, I took a different one, and I didn't really learn much in that one. So I wanted to get the feeling of what our Kumu taught and how he teaches it. Because that last class that we had, we just took notes and eat and shit. But okay. I have taken 5 classes, working on my 6th and 7th, and I plan to graduate with 21 college credits. So a little about myself, how I got into this early college program. Growing up for me, it was like hard, really tough, because like we jumped from house to house, and it affected me mentally because I didn't have the right mindset and the focus on school and how I feel about it. I just set on top of moving and where we're gonna stop. So as I got older, my grades started to drop more and more. I got Fs, Bs, and the highest I got was probably a C. So I came to my freshman year of high school. I was in the third quarter and I looked at my GPA, it was a 1.2. I thought to myself, oh, do I really want to graduate, or am I really going to graduate with a 1.2 GPA? So I brought it up, worked hard as much as I could, and got it up enough so I could pass. Then the same happened again for my sophomore year. So I had the opportunity from one of my kumus to join this early college program. And it was really good for me. It showed me how to prioritize my time, do the good from wrongs, and it brought my grade up to a 3.8. And I currently have a cumulative of a 3.5, so that's really good. And last year summer, I had the opportunity to go to several college tours with the Gear Up program. So we went to San Francisco and visited UC Davis, UC Berkeley, Sacramento State, Notre Dame, Dearborn Moore, and SFU. And the one that I liked the most about out of all those schools was Sacramento State, because well, they have what I want to major in, which is natural resources. So going through that tour, it was really good for me. It was a good experience. Better than me going up there and not knowing what am I going to, who the people who there is and how they act, which they're really nice. And the day we came back home from the mainland, that day I applied for Sacramento State, and I waited like a few months, and I got the letter saying, oh, congratulations, you have been accepted to Sacramento State. So this August, I will be attending Sacramento State.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just to kind of wrap it up, I have 2 more slides, and so this one tells us about our 2015 graduates. These are pretty much our first cohort of students that graduated together, and what college they're attending. So I want to focus on 2 things: the college they're attending and their GPA. So for them, we had nothing below a 2.0 for our 2015 graduates. If you notice on the college that they're attending, most of those are in Hawaii, and a lot of them are on Hawaii Island. And so this is like, these guys were there since inception of early college, when we used to call it running start on campus. And then this is our 2016 graduates. So we have a few more that we're adding to the list that are figuring out where they want to be. However, if you look at their college accepted into, lots of these kids are going away now. So now that we're able to provide them with this sequence course, or a sequence of courses, they feel a lot more confident in their abilities to go away. And so we have Sac State, we have California State, Sacramento, there is Shasta, we just had one to Linfield, Seattle University. That Seattle University girl is not going there because she got a full ride to Nebraska. So, I mean, yeah, times have changed, from 1 year, in 1 year. So what we expect to see for the 2017 graduates is huge. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Great work. I think the board has some questions or some comments, so if you can sit for a few minutes. Board Member Williams.
Thank you. Congratulations on your achievements, and staff on putting the program together. It's really impressive. Just curious, like Sacramento State, are they going to accept all your college credits?
Yes.
Oh, great. No, I mean, I don't take it for granted, because even from college to college, sometimes they don't take credits. So that shows the kind of the rigor and the quality of the courses. So great, thanks.
Board Member Horner.
Young lady, I must have misunderstood. You're anticipating graduate how many credits?
42 college credits.
42.
By the end of next year.
Whoa, I mean, she's almost a junior when she starts.
So we do have one student, I think it was this year, that
I think with one more class, maybe during the summer, he'd be able to achieve his associate's degree.
Just, we talk about all the academic and all the beautiful things, but being a banker, I always look at the economics of it all. The value of those 42 credits is substantial investment. I mean, pay for that even at UH or wherever, that's a major reduction in the cost of public or college education. So that's another significant reason why this is such a critical program for folks. So, and it's being paid now, how?
Okay, so we first off started leveraging things like Gear Up, so the free reduced lunch. So Waiakea has an inherent like hierarchy of like students and student achievement, right? So there's lots of kids that already do well. So our middle of the road kids, they just happen to be Native Hawaiian, non-traditional, and free reduced lunch. So when we looked at our cohort 1, we kind of just built this program around the kids. This is a very student-centered program, and so the only way we could do it was through the free reduced lunch scholarships, from Gear Up. And so P20 helped us with that. Then we had Hawaii Community Foundation come in and say, okay, you think you got a good idea? We'll give you $10,000 and let's see what you can do with it. And then on top of that, we took it to the Hawaii Community College and we said, okay, well, there's so much money we have, what can you do for us? And he said, if you're looking to institutionalize something, we'll match you with a couple tuition waivers. And so we had these 3 guys kind of going around and we were all talking. And then after that, we brought on Project Ho'okui to help us pay for some of our tuition waivers and whatnot. And then we applied for the P20 Castle Foundation Early College High School grant, and we got it. And so it's been a long road. We're still looking for more funding or go to the legislature and try to figure out how we can move this money around. But predominantly, these are grant-funded courses. Our school has been picking up the 20% cost match for this year too. We're in our 2nd year of the ECHS grant. We're in the 3rd year of development for the program. So the 3rd year, we're gonna see ourselves paying 30% cost match of tuition and books. And then, like these two students said, we pay for their Running Start class as well. And we've been leveraging Gear Up scholarships and Project Ho'okui to pay for this. However, we don't let them off of the leash. We still manage their time, we still help them manage their resources, tutoring, a place to, a safe place to study, a quiet place to use the computer, printing so that they don't have to pay for it. And we kind of just try to break down all those little barriers so that the student has complete and appropriate access to whatever in education they see fit for themselves, within their own personal pipelines and social capital. So funding it is tough, but
You're right, he does more than just a government program. He's your fundraiser, an entrepreneur, and etc. On behalf of the board, as one member, I just want to thank the sponsors too, Castle and all those various folks. We should probably eventually acknowledge those kind of people come alongside and make these things happen. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Board Member Min?
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations. I've always been very interested in models of excellence and success, but I also have some questions because, as you know, we are building our strategic plan, and I think what we'd like to do is take these examples so that we can supplement our strategic plan and make it very, very successful. So, the question is to the students. Now, you just said, I used to go eat lunch and just sit around in class. So what's the difference? What's the difference between Waiakea's program and what you used to do in the normal traditional school? What's so different?
Okay. So the difference with high school and the early college one, they're more down on your work. Like they tell you go deep. Like high school, not to be kind of, but high school they just stay surface. They don't go deeper into what you're looking for, which is the first class, the IS class that I was talking about. That class, that kumu is teaching us to dig things more deep and like express yourself. So you don't have to worry, like you can be open.
With my experience compared to, because even in my high school courses I take, some classes I take are like the escalator classes, but even in comparison to that, it's a lot more rigorous, the work, and plus if you think about it, we get the 3 credits, but since it's also a dual credit, you get the credit for high school as well. So it's basically like you're fitting in a year worth of high school into 1 semester of college. So it's a lot more work, but I see that the success rate for the students are a lot higher just because we have so many resources around us. Like we have advisors that we can go to anytime if we need help, and the tutoring program that we can use at the high school and at the college campus. And even though it's a lot harder and it puts us under stress and we hate finals and everything, we manage, and it makes us overall better people at the end.
Would you say that one of the most important things that you folks find different in this area is choice? You have a choice now. Decide where you're going versus a traditional high school where you're kind of moving around, wondering what's going on. So I'm very, very impressed with these pathways, which lock you in, which they know where you're going, which helps you to become successful. So yeah, congratulations and keep it up. Now the last question I have is this motivated more of your other type of students? Because that's what we're concerned with.
Absolutely. It's exposure. And it's exposure to rigorous courses like Cecilia said. Waiakea High, I mean, regarding, I'm sorry. Pardon me. We do have a reputation of having, I call them high flyers, our top 10% students who will do well, no matter where they're, just because they're attending at Waiakea High doesn't mean, I kind of not, there are students and they're great people, but like Andy said earlier, those students are valedictorians and the top 2-3%. Most of the time, they don't come back to Hilo. They either move here to Oahu, they go to school in the mainland, they're successful, or by the time they come back, they're already set. These are the guys that will take care of us. And these are the guys that really pay attention a lot more, I believe, a lot more to the community that surrounds the campus. So as far as, like I said, exposure, and we are talking about the students that may not have taken advantage in the past. So yes, our numbers have
I wanted to make that distinction, and I want to end it by saying this is a great example of empowerment from the CAS, allowing you folks taking things. I think the more we restrict our educators, the more we kind of hold things back. I'd like to let them go and trust them. So great job, guys, and invite me to your graduation party.
Thank you. Oh, we have more questions, sorry. Board Member Cox.
I'd like you to sort of run me through how your week goes. So how long are you on campus? How long are you on the college campus? Kind of how do you do things?
Okay, so for this semester, since I'm only taking the English 100 class now, I have class Monday and Wednesday. So fortunately, it's after high school, so school will end on Monday at 1:12, and then college will start at 2, and then we finish at 3:15. And so we stay pretty much through that whole time, but for example, like this Friday, like we have Hell Night at our school, so a lot of us will put in like extra time to come together and work on all of our assignments together. So a lot of the time is dedicated to high school and college work, but I would think that the time that I put into college with only having the 1 class is like just as much as I have to put in for like 5 or 6 of the classes that I have from my high school. So it's like matching all of the work that I have to do. But his is a little bit more than mine.
Oh yeah, so for me, my classes I have every day except for Friday. Since I doubled up, I have class on Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday and Thursday. And it's really, it's helpful because you have to prioritize your time, as I said. You have to know what you want to do. And if you don't, if you wait till the last minute to do all your work, then it'll all just catch up with you in the end. And then you either get a bad grade or not do it at all. So might as well just get it done first, and then you can do whatever you have to do later on.
So
how long are you on the high school campus?
All day.
Oh, all day?
Yeah, I have my classes after school, just like everyone.
All your classes are after school?
Yeah.
Okay, Vice Chair DeLima.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my neighborhood. I grew up right by Waiakea, but it wasn't Waiakea, it was Guava Fields when I was growing up. So I graduated from Hilo High, now Waiakea. I think Cicely's supposed to go to Hilo High, but she's going to Waiakea because I guess her mom's teaching there. But I want everyone to know that Principal Koga is a can-do guy, and he has a lot of respect in the community and the teachers and the students at Waiakea High School. So I congratulate you for doing a great job. And, I also want to say that everyone knows that Punahou is the Hilo High of Honolulu. And it's also said that Iolani is the Waiakea of Honolulu. So, we have great high schools in Hilo. That's probably comparable, if not excels, the private schools in Honolulu, because these are our gem schools, and we appreciate you coming to Honolulu and sharing with the rest of the board and the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Great job. Congratulations to both of you, and good luck in your college career and future endeavors. And great work, Principal Koga. Thank you. Andy, great job too.
Mr. Bennett, you should introduce Mr. Nikoba to the...
So for this next part, I want to introduce our school renewal specialist, Darren Lacoba.
So just to provide a little context before Brad starts, two things. One is just to know that while you heard the stories of individual students having success at Waiakea, they are examples that are reflected in the overall data at that school. More kids going to college, more kids ready for college, just dramatic results across the board. So again, congratulations to the team. And then for this, I just want to set it up a little bit. What I hear from our CASs is it's a lot harder to recruit for leadership positions on our neighbor islands. And so what Brad's done in a few short months in setting up this leadership program is about taking action to innovate and to try and create a leadership pipeline that's local for his individual complex area.
Thank you. Yeah, so when I took over in July, it was apparent that, we needed to step up how we prepare leaders in our complex area. I think neighbor islands in general have that issue. Not a lot of people have exposure to leadership at the bigger picture level. So we wanted to make sure we hit it from 3 levels. So we adjusted our principals meetings to become more collaborative discussions than anything else. We made sure our VPs and our teacher leaders were taught what the department came up with, our 8 leadership competencies. So we built a program for our teacher leaders and for our vice principals around our 8 leadership competencies developed by the department. So we meet with them once a month. The teacher leaders were chosen by their principals, so there's 45 in that group, and our vice principals are all of our serving vice principals. So we felt it was important that they get exposure to that leadership piece and also start understanding that we want them to step up, not just in administrative positions, but at the school level as well. We need strong teacher leaders at the school level because it needs to be a collaborative learning environment. The leadership needs to be shared. Our principals can't do it all. There's a lot of stuff to do. So we wanted to make sure we came up with a program that exposed them to leadership competencies, leadership theory, gave them the opportunity to come together once a month as a cohort and support each other, and to make sure that they understood that this is the direction of the complex area, this is the direction of the state, and you are a big part of it. So we actually have a video. We talked to some of the, instead of bringing them all here, we did a short video where some of the teaching leaders talk about their experiences.
I'm learning a lot about leadership and what it means to be kind of a teacher leader in this environment. Because the thing is, with education in general, it's changing a lot. the landscape is changing, and I do feel there's been kind of a leadership vacuum or